You started the year off strong. You set all your goals for how you wanted to do your bookkeeping this year. And just like that, it's June. And now is the time for you to do a mid-year bookkeeping and financial checkup to see how your small business is doing. Time flies by so quickly, and before you know it, we'll be flipping the calendar to the month of December. Today, we're going to do a checkup to make sure that you've been able to stay on track when it comes to your small business bookkeeping. Now is the time to make sure you're doing everything you can to stay up to date, and if you find you've slipped a little, this episode will help you get back on track quickly and make sure that you are able to stay up to date going forward so that you can ensure you have a smooth transition at year end. This halfway point is also a good time to take a look at how your business is doing. Are you meeting your sales goals? Is your income higher or lower than what you were projecting? And what should you do if you're seeing numbers you didn't expect? I'll also help you focus on which reports you should be looking at, whether you're using a computerized software system like QuickBooks, or even keeping track of your business finances manually or using a Google or Excel spreadsheet. It's extremely important to keep a pulse on how your business is doing throughout the year, whether you're just starting your small business, you're a solopreneur, entrepreneur, small business owner, virtual online bookkeeper, or virtual assistant. So listen in and make sure your business is on track to reach all your goals by doing a mid-year financial checkup. You're listening to the Mastering Your Small Business Finances podcast, where we get straight to the point on topics that ultimately affect your bottom line. That's right, as an entrepreneur with a small business, money management, growth, marketing, they all affect your bottom line. I'm your host, Chris Ponick. I'm a certified public accountant, and I've been helping small business owners like you navigate and easily understand these complicated topics for over 25 years. I'm a wife, a mom, a grandmother, and a small business owner myself, so I know your time is valuable. In my free time, I make the best sugar cookies and have mastered an amazing chocolate chip cookie recipe. And that's not just my opinion. You're in the right place. I promise your time will be well spent here. Each week, you'll gain confidence and clarity while making a successful impact on your business and grow your bottom line. Get comfy, grab a cookie, and let's get straight to the point with this week's episode. Are you looking for a computerized software solution to do your bookkeeping? I highly recommend checking out QuickBooks Online. I've been using QuickBooks myself for over 20 years, and they really know how to streamline processes and make your bookkeeping and recording your transactions simple and easy. QuickBooks is one of the top software solutions used by small business owners, and I would say that over 95% of my clients are currently using QuickBooks for their businesses. One of the features most of my clients and I take advantage of is the option to set up bank feeds. You simply link your bank account to your QuickBooks account, and QuickBooks will automatically import each transaction into your QuickBooks file. You'll save a ton of time not having to manually enter each of these transactions. You simply review each of the transactions and make sure they're getting recorded to the appropriate account, and then click one button and they're in. Want to know more? Head over to financialadventure.com/QuickBooks and learn how you can save 50% off of your first 3 months. Welcome back. Isn't it amazing how quickly this year is slipping by? If you're anything like me, it seems like the months are flying by like weeks. It seems odd that we're already hitting the halfway mark for the year. But now that we're here, there's a few things I want to touch on today that you should be doing as a small business owner to ensure that you are continuing to monitor your business and stay on track to be successful this year. First, I want you to take a look at how your bookkeeping is going. Have you been able to keep up with everything, or are you finding yourself falling behind? You want to make sure that you have all of your income and expenses recorded, and your bank and credit card accounts need to be reconciled. If you know you're behind on this, and you know you don't have enough time to get this caught up, you want to find someone to help you get caught up. By doing this, you'll still be able to review your financial information and make good business decisions before the end of the year. If you wait until the end of the year or even the beginning of next year to do your bookkeeping, it will be too late to do any tax planning, and you may not be prepared for what you find when the tax season comes around. By being proactive, you could reduce your tax bill by planning accordingly, but you need to have accurate information right now to do this. You want to make sure you have accurate and timely information throughout the year so that you can make good business decisions. And now is the time for you to realize if you're able to do this on your own, or if you should look at getting some help from a bookkeeper to ensure your success going forward. If you are behind and you've been thinking about starting to use a computerized software system to record your bookkeeping, like QuickBooks, it's not too late. I always tell my clients that even though you are behind getting all of your information entered, when you have multiple months of data to enter into a system like QuickBooks, it is really a good learning process since you'll be repeating many of the processes you'll need to do in a short amount of time, which makes it easier to remember how to do it, especially since some of the processes that you would normally do only once a month. This helps you learn the process quickly with the repetition and is really a good way to learn how to do your bookkeeping. Don't ever feel like you are too far behind to catch up. Don't get me wrong, when you are all up to date on doing your bookkeeping, it will take much less time to do each and every month. But there is a lot of learning that you can do when you are entering in multiple months at a time. It'll take a little bit longer, but either way, you'll still get the information entered so that you can file your tax return at the end of the year. If you haven't started your bookkeeping yet, now is the best time to get started. When your bookkeeping is up to date, you can easily start looking at your financial reports to see how your business is doing. You'll want to find out if your income is up from this same time last year or if you're a little behind. If you're using a computerized software system like QuickBooks, you can easily run a profit and loss report for the current year to date and compare it to the previous year to date. This will give you a good understanding of how your business is doing compared to the previous year. You could also do a profit and loss comparison to your budget if you have one set up to see if you're staying within your budgeted amounts. If you haven't had a chance to create your budget for the year yet, you can still create one so that you can stick to this budget throughout the remainder of the year. Either of these comparison reports, whether comparing your profit and loss report to your prior year profit and loss report or comparing your actual amounts to your budgeted amounts, will help you get an idea of how your year is going. If you are doing your bookkeeping manually, you can also do a comparison to your previous year and your budget as well. It may take a little more time for you to get this information, but it will definitely be good information for you to have to see how your business is doing so far this year. Once you have this information, you may need to schedule an appointment with your tax preparer to decide if there is any action you need to do prior to the end of the year to ensure you're in the best possible position for filing your next tax return. Most business owners look at their revenues as their only source of how their business is doing. You will, though, also want to take a look at all of your expenses as well. Make sure that your expenses are in alignment with what you've budgeted. If you feel you're overspending in one area, you may want to try to adjust your spending to stay in line with your budget. Make sure you take a look at any recurring expenses, and if you find any that you are not currently utilizing, decide if you want to continue to incur those expenses or if it would be better to discontinue the expenses to help increase your net income. Next, take a look at what your goals were for the year and make sure that you're hitting those goals, or at least making progress towards reaching your goals. If you're not reaching your goals, you need to find out what you need to do to either reach or maybe even surpass them by the end of the year. If your priorities have changed, maybe it's time to re-examine those goals and create goals that are more in alignment to your objectives now, and figure out what has to happen each month for the remainder of the year for you to be able to achieve these goals. These smaller goals will help you stay on track to reach your big goals for the year. Assess the effectiveness of your current legal structure. If you're seeing a significant difference in revenues or net income, you may need to review the legal structure your business is currently in. There are times when it would be beneficial for your business to change the legal structure throughout the year to help you gain more benefits. You'll definitely want to talk with your tax preparer and lawyer for additional help in this area to make sure that your business is set up under the correct legal structure, and by having your financial information up to date and accurate, you'll be able to make sure you have the proper entity structure set up for your small business. Overall, when you take a good look at how your business is doing for the first half of the year, you're able to plan accordingly for the remainder of the year. Having accurate and timely financial information is the first step to allowing you to make these smart business decisions. Maintaining your bookkeeping system needs to be a priority in your business. It's very important to realize that if you're unable to maintain your books at an early stage, that you can get the help that you need to ensure you have the financial information you need going forward. If you are a virtual assistant and you're interested in adding bookkeeping services to your existing business, or if you want to start your own bookkeeping business, my 4-step framework for creating a profitable bookkeeping business will be opening soon. In 3 months or less, you will gain the confidence, skills, and knowledge to create a profitable bookkeeping business without feeling alone, overwhelmed, or confused about your next steps. You can sign up for the waitlist and be the first to know about this exciting opportunity. To make sure you get all the upcoming notifications, go to financialadventure.com/elevate-waitlist. I'll post a link where you're listening to this podcast for you to sign up as well. All right, to recap this episode. Number 1, have you been able to keep up with your bookkeeping, or are you falling behind? You want to make sure that you have all of your income and expenses recorded and all of your bank and credit card accounts reconciled. Number 2, if you know that you're behind on your bookkeeping and you know you don't have time to get it caught up, you want to find someone to help you get it caught up. By doing this now, you'll still be able to review your financial information and make good business decisions before the end of the year. Number 3, by being proactive, you could reduce your tax bill by planning accordingly, but you need to have accurate information right now to do this. Number 4, if you've been thinking about starting to use a computerized software system like QuickBooks to record your bookkeeping, it's not too late to get started. It's really a good learning process since you'll be repeating many of the processes you need to do in a short amount of time. Number 5, when your bookkeeping is up to date, you can easily start looking at your financial reports to see how your business is doing. You'll want to find out if your income is up from this same time last year or if it's a little behind. Number 6, you can easily run a profit and loss report for the current year to date and compare it to the previous year to date, and you could also do a profit and loss comparison to your budget if you have one set up so that you can see if you're staying within your budgeted numbers. Number 7, you may need to schedule an appointment with your tax preparer to decide if there's any action you need to do prior to the end of the year to ensure that you are in the best possible position for filing your next tax return. Number 8, you'll also want to take a look at all of your expenses. Make sure that any of the expenses that you have are in alignment with your budget. Number 9, take a look at what your goals were for the year and make sure that you're hitting these goals, or at least that you're making progress towards reaching those goals. Number 10, assess the effectiveness of your legal structure. If you are seeing a significant difference in revenues or net income, you may need to review the legal structure of your business. You'll definitely want to talk with your tax preparer and lawyer for additional help in this area to make sure that your business is set up under the correct legal structure. And you know I'm going to ask, what's at least one thing you'll take away from this episode that will help your business succeed and grow your bottom line? If you need some accountability, join our private Facebook community and post your action item. We'd love to support you. Thanks for taking the time to tune into this episode of Mastering Your Small Business Finances. If you enjoyed this episode as much as I enjoyed creating it for you, I'd love for you to give it a 5-star rating and subscribe to the show so you never miss an episode. Visit financialadventure.com for the show notes, links from this episode, and while you're there, leave a comment if you have a topic you're interested in learning more about that affects your bottom line. If you're looking for a community where you can ask questions and get feedback about your small business, join my private Facebook group. You can find the links to this group and more on financialadventure.com. And remember, any financial information shared on this podcast is not to be considered professional, financial, or tax advice and should not be solely relied upon. Please consult your CPA or tax advisor for an opinion on your specific circumstances. I'm looking forward to having you tune in next time. Until then, dream big, follow your heart, and love what you do.